What's up guys, it's Tyler from the Aquatic Journal. Today's video is going to be all about RO water. I'm going to talk about why I decided to switch from tap water to RO water and hopefully help you decide if you should do the same thing. I'm also going to show you the whole process, so if you're interested, stay tuned. The main reason I decided to switch to RO water from tap water was because I couldn't seem to grow any plants. They would do well for a little while and then they would all melt, and this kind of repeated over and over again. The second reason was because my guppy fry weren't growing up properly. They were taking a long time to grow and I couldn't seem to figure out why. I think now I know that it's because there was no calcium in the water. The first thing I'm showing a test of is the GH and KH of my tap water. GH will be on the right, KH on the left. The first drop of GH, it turns green, which means that we have 0 to 1 GH in there. You can see it turns green right away. KH, we end up adding 14 total drops in here. As you'll see, I add 5 there and then a whole bunch of fast-forwarded versions of me just adding drop after drop after drop. I'll show the results at the end, but basically 0 to 3 is for very specific fish on GH range, so we're too low on GH. And then KH being 14 or higher is actually closer to brackish or even past marine at this point. So we're definitely too high on KH and too low on GH, which is kind of the main reason why RO water at this point sounded like a good idea. The pH also on my tap water, as you can see me adding here, is super high. I'm doing a high pH test here, and you'll see as we get the results here in a second that the pH is somewhere in between 8 and 8.2 probably, which for most fish is higher than they'd like. Honestly, most of my fish probably didn't mind it, but they would probably prefer it to be lower. The RO unit here clearly has a pH that's closer to 6.6 or 6.8, which is much more ideal. GH and KH, same kind of thing. They basically just start you at the beginning. GH again is 0 to 1, just like before. KH on the other hand went from 14 all the way down to 2, and it changes colors right away. TDS on the RO unit as should be close to 0. It's 1 right now, which is pretty close. And the TDS of my tap water is a little high at 217. We want to be a lot closer to 150 or 200. So here's my RO unit. The water comes in the top there. That line right there is the waste line, which goes back up into the sink and back out the drain there. The bottom line is the filtered line, and that one just goes straight into a 5-gallon bucket that I have sitting there on the floor. And then I basically take that bucket and dump it into this 44-gallon trash can right here. In the trash can, I have a power head to stir it up, a heater to keep the water to the same temperature as the tanks, and then a pump with a big old hose to go into the tanks. Then I pretty much just got started doing my water changes so that I could pump new water in. When you use RO water, you need to remineralize the water. Basically, there's nothing in the water, which still isn't good for your fish. You can see I started with a TDS of 13. We want to be a lot closer to 150 or 200. I use Seachem Equilibrium to get to this point. So basically, all I do is add some in, stir it up, measure the TDS again until I get to the result that I wanted. This took me about 3 times to get where I wanted. The first time we came back with a TDS rating of 70. Then we came back around 130, and then we got to where we wanted to be. The other thing to keep in mind when using Seachem Equilibrium is it will only buffer your GH, meaning your KH will still be too low. So I just went ahead and added in 3 gallons of my tap water to buffer the KH, as we know it's super high, and then made sure that the TDS wasn't too high. After that's done, I pretty much just put the hose in the tanks, turn on the pump, and let the water changes begin. Before I dumped them in, I made sure to test the GH and KH one more time. I didn't quite get a video of that, but the GH came back around 5, which is about right where we wanted to be. The KH was around 3, which is still a little low from where I'll want to be next time, but due to the fact that this is my first time using RO water, I wasn't too worried about having low KH on the water change, as the KH in the water is already super high. So in the future, I'll make sure that they're both right around 5 or 6, and we should be good from there. Thanks for watching, guys. I know I'm no expert on RO water by any means, but I hope this was at least a little helpful. If I was in your shoes looking at getting RO water and I wasn't having any issues with plants or fish necessarily, I probably would just continue to use tap water. If you are having issues with plants or fish, I'd take in a water sample to your local fish store, have them run a few tests, and see what's going on. It may be something that's fixable, or maybe something where you have to look at going the RO route. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it and leave a comment below with your thoughts. I have a lot more educational content planned and some entertaining content planned, so if you're looking forward to what we're doing, please make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.